This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace.com. Create your own website or online portfolio. And why not get a free trial and 10% off with coupon code CFN. Do it. CFN. It's good to be back in USA. In the USA. USA.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, foreigners. We're done traveling around ruining your other countries.
You call these ruins?
There should be a McDonald's right in the middle of that Buddha.
Oh, wait, there is.
Oh, it's great. It's really convenient.
I shot first, kitten heads across the land, waiting for the show with Chris and Graham. Comedy Film Nerds, Comedy Film Nerds Podcast. Films, popcorn flicks, if you're looking for the knowledge, we've got your fix on the Comedy Film Nerds, Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 219.
Wow.
Holy shit. We're
Back in the States.
halfway to 438.
Nice.
Is that your goal?
That's our goal.
Yeah.
We haven't done a dumb halfway
We
math
haven't,
in a
no.
while.
Right.
So, hello, governors. We are
You dummy.
hello. Hello. Back in the States.
After a trip to where? Should you mention?
We were in Australia and Japan.
Yeah.
Look at
Yes.
you, travelers.
Which was a lot of fun.
It was unbelievable. Trip of a lifetime.
It was great.
It really was.
It
It
was
was,
it was
absolutely
A
amazing.
working trip.
Working trip.
Not like you guys are just vacationing.
No.
Next time.
Next
No,
time.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest.
No, yeah.
Every minute was accounted for. It was really unbelievable. Like it was either, we talked about where we were either shooting, walking, sleeping, or eating. That was it. That was
it.
for about almost 2 weeks.
And did you sleep in those Japanese businessman hotels that are little?
We got a
Oh,
nice-
the coffin hotels?
Coffin
No,
hotels.
no.
we got a fancy Western hotel.
Yeah,
Look at you.
specifically went Western Hotel.
We found a hotel that was really nice. They were having a crazy deal.
Yeah, hotels.com.
We
sale.
jumped on
Yeah.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we got back on June 10th, and then 36 hours later, myself and the crew took a red-eye flight to Indiana, where
That's thinking.
yeah, it was really great planning. That was the Whistling Banes tour manager planned that trip, and then I was doing shows at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, which was awesome. Thank you to everybody that came out. And then we did a bunch of great interviews there. We interviewed a longtime fan of the show, Erin, at her Rising Star Gymnastics studio.
Wow.
That's a great studio. I was there last time I was there.
So fun. And then afterwards, the crew got to jump, tumble, and jump in the foam pit and all this other stuff, which I did
fun.
too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the interview with her was awesome, and she was talking about.
It's the adult version of like a ball pit. In like a,
It is.
McDonald's and McDonald's.
Yeah, it really is.
They should put one of those in a McDonald's and a
Just the giant
restaurant.
foam rubber thing.
Yeah, like in a really nice adult bar. They should have a foam pit you can get liquored up and jump into.
Yeah.
I don't see any liability.
It would get used
No,
every
because
minute.
That's
Would.
hilarious.
It'd be fun.
And this is for your documentary that Earbuds. Everybody knows about
Yes.
this, right?
Yes.
So I was doing shows which were fun at the Comedy Attic, which I love that club. We interviewed Erin, and it was really cool. She gave us a great interview, and
You weren't
come
jet lagged. You weren't like
you're hilarious.
I didn't
you're, like,
go.
sleeping on stage.
Yeah,
It
I
was
didn't
like-
go to that leg of the trip, and I could barely move when I came back. It was like I had 2 days of like I can't. My body will not move.
And you did an hour of your set, like
Yeah,
your high
my comedy.
physical. What the holy smokes?
My comedy jokes.
And where did that leave you after that?
I mean, I flew back yesterday. You can hear it in my voice. I'm barely alive.
No.
Like, it
I
was.
thought it was a husky thing from yelling at on stage or something. But
It's just, I'm fried. It was so cool. The shows were great. Interview with Aaron was great. We did fan interviews at the Comedy Attic, which was awesome. Jared, the club owner, it was cool because we haven't interviewed a comedy club owner talking about how seeing live podcasts and how it's sort of changed because his comedy club opened in 2008.
Oh,
And so
right.
He's seen sort of, he's
the
been
rise
a part
of
of it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then we interviewed another longtime fan, Lucas Lunsman, who is recently he's stationed at a military base in Kentucky, and we interviewed him because he was in he's done 3 deployments to Iraq.
Wow.
And was talking to us about how podcasting, it was, feeling connected to home when he's like going out on missions, and he's in infantry and stuff like that. It was a really cool interview, and it's going to help, like, show what podcasting does, which is why would an infantry soldier, a gymnastics coach, and a Japanese housewife, what could they possibly have in common? And it's like,
they all listen to the show. Yeah, right.
So it was really cool, and the crew, they did a fantastic job, and
now you're all beat. You're wasted. You're not even making coherent sense.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you just said. I don't know. What the hell. I know you thought you just said a sentence, but if you replay that, you're not going to make it.
Just mumble my way through it. So yeah, guys, #work it. But no, I just want to thank everybody, and along the way, fans helped out.
Everywhere we've gone, fans have helped out.
Everywhere.
It's been amazing.
Literally all over the planet.
Yeah.
And in Bloomington, fans came out. At a fan, Ashley at Juno Rose, she came out to help. She's helped us, and we've interviewed her. She helped us out in Chicago and in Bloomington with fan interviews.
And we needed the help. So it was, it was definitely.
Are they like carrying gear, or what? How are
sometimes,
they? Sometimes,
yeah. Right?
Sometimes they did, man. In Tokyo, they did. Oh my God,
is that right?
We put Andrea and Sinai and even Andy.
Oh yeah, they were to work when they were with us. They were to work
because we were taking in Tokyo. We're running around on subways.
Oh my gosh, with all
our gear.
Yeah.
And you had like 4 cameras in the light box, like
2. Well, we had 2 cameras. We brought a little slightly smaller. We brought 2 cameras and a light box, and
enough to make it hard.
Yeah. And aren't they still those guys that just push everybody on the subways? Like, aren't they?
Well, we avoided rush hour specifically for that reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want a businessman looking up my skirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't need.
They want to be
You
groped.
didn't need that?
Yeah. Without paying
You
for it.
didn't need that?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Well, no, I didn't need to have another long distance relationship with you know what I mean? Like
6 is enough.
I already married a woman from another country. That didn't work out. I didn't need that again. And then there's the gay marriage, and how does that work?
How does that work?
How do I check him through customs? You know what I mean? Like there's a whole
another layer.
Glad you thought that through. That was really impressive. So happy you did that.
I'm good at logistics.
So yeah, it was everything from carrying gear to. I mean, at Tokyo, we never would have been able to get around without guides. With Sinai, Andrea, and
same thing
and
for
Andy.
Kentucky.
Yeah,
Kentucky, Tokyo,
I
same.
can't. Yeah, you're in Kentucky. I can't read this sign.
I get What language is this?
Yeah, there's no vowels in it.
There's a hillbilly with a musket.
Yeah.
What is going on?
That's Kentucky, right? Or
Yeah.
No, that was Australia. That was the Outback.
See what you
Come
did?
on.
Look at.
We do skits.
We
go down one
you
road.
knock them out of the park. That's awesome.
So let's introduce our guest.
Oh, right. Have I not been introduced?
This mope who's been running his yap.
All right, I was supposed to shut up till your intro was done.
No, we didn't expect that.
That ever happens every time I come on the show.
We've had you on this program enough.
I'm introducing the fucking
One of
thing. Chris Mancini, Graham Elwood. This is your show, Comedy Film Nerds.
Yeah, one of our premier Comedy Film Nerds writers, been with us from the beginning and always involved in anything Comedy Film Nerds related. Ladies and gentlemen, also from the X-Files.
And we did interview him and his co-host.
Yes.
Phil,
Phil,
yes.
Earbuds.
Yes.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Dean Haglund.
Come on.
Am I talking now? Do I talk now?
That's it,
I'm building. I fucked it up.
The NSA just cut off his mic.
The one time you're supposed to run your yap and you can't goddamn do it.
That's the comedy. Don't you see what I did? It's expectation pulled
Quick
asunder.
left turns today, guys.
Totally. You got to stay on top of this one. I got some sleep.
Yes, and I did not.
Yes, in your face.
I'm doing improv.
Yeah, awesome. It's good to be here, guys. Thank you very much. It's really great.
have you.
Loving the show, reading the reviews.
Yeah.
What else?
And we have so Chillback Hollywood Hour is still going. You're doing it once a week, right?
We're now episode, not to brag, 390.
Wow.
I know. That's crazy, right?
And you're still once a week, too,
We're
right?
once a week. We haven't missed a week. We haven't missed a Monday
But you started at 280.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
It's a weird numbering.
Yeah, it's a weird numbering, and we skip every 7.
It's like dog. It's dog years in podcasting.
Years of podcasting. No, it's 7 straight years of every Monday.
Wow.
I know. It's a production meeting. We've gone through 2 movies. We're working on our 3rd documentary now, a sequel to The Truth Is Out There.
Oh, excellent.
Our documentary on conspiracies. So we start that end of September. Going to do the same thing, go around the world. We're going to South America and over to see the last of the underground Nazi UFO bases in Czechoslovakia, like that kind of thing. I know.
Wait, I'm sorry. You say that like it's something
Everybody should know.
like
Yeah,
the Eiffel Tower.
The Nazis had a UFO anti-gravity flying project apparently, and then they filled in the bases that were underground. These deep underground bases. They just filled them in with mud. And then there's a guy over in Europe who's sending us pictures of like in wooded areas. Just says Achtung. And then you open up a hatch, and the lights are still on, and there's a ladder that goes way the hell down there. And
Well, what about did somebody dig out the mud? and stuff?
well, no, you can use the ground sensing radar, and so you can see it. And then that one shaft that had water at the bottom of it, but there's like water and mud. Yeah, you haven't dug them out, but you can see basically the outline of it, and there's stuff in there.
Well, when you're there, are you going to dig them out?
Yeah, that's just the 2 of us shovel 20,000
You and Phil?
cubic tons of Czechoslovakian mud.
That should
We're
take
just
a couple
gonna-
days, man.
Shit, it's a couple days. I
Get a
think it's
couple
going to be
fans to chip in.
That is,
Yeah.
Oh, fans listening.
It's like finding the ET cartridges in Mexico.
I know, wasn't that great? That they spent so much time. Hey, we got 1 million ET Atari games. Get on ya, kids. Why not? Let's see how bad the game is. Oh, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember it now, how bad it was. I think they should have left it buried.
Yeah.
Really? Well, here they are. Oh, good. Now let's recycle them, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that sounds really awesome. You're going to go see it all these kind of like conspiracy sites. And
Conspiracy sites. And when we did our first documentary.
You're
it was
all
about-
funded on this one? All set?
Yeah, we got a couple producers that are doing 100% funding, so we're not even going to
fantastic.
do crowdsourcing of any sort. I don't think, though I shouldn't drew up on my trip so soon. But the initial funding is all in place for pre-production and traveling. But when we shot the first documentary, The Truth Is Out There, which you can see at truth-is-out-there.com.
Or why don't you just download it from Comedy Film Nerds?
Or
It's
download
even
it out
easier.
of there. See, that's so much easier. Should have said that. We had hundreds of hours of footage, and a lot of it pertained to ancient wisdom and different tangents that we couldn't really follow in the 2.5 hours that the movie runs. So
Sure.
we went, let's keep this. And now all of that footage will now lead us on a new journey of conspiracy, but with history involved. So it's not contemporary
sounds
ones,
awesome.
but we follow it back through history. Hence Nazi flying saucers and stuff like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this movie.
I know,
Sounds
it's right?
fantastic.
That'd be really cool.
You had me at Nazi flying saucer.
Yeah. I was like,
Sure.
oh my God, I
Book
can't
it.
wait to see
Let's
this.
do this.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Serious. Yeah,
If the entire movie was Nazi flying saucers, I think
I
we
think
would
there is
watch
one
it.
like that, actually.
Oh, I'm
I
not
think-
surprised.
Yeah, I know. I think there's a fictitious one, and then there's one that sort of like tries to examine like
What
their
really happened.
Yeah, where there's
Piece it
like
together.
There's like these weird contraptions out in the middle of Germany that are like, what was this? And then there's a picture of like a UFO, like the 1950s one that seems to be hovering, and they're like doing perhaps it was just maglev stuff, but you know, magnetic levitation, but. Still, they were working on it, and this is 1945.
Wow.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for the Nazis.
Little ingenious fellers. That's them.
They created meth and perfected genocide. Good for them. Good for them. Good on you.
Dude,
Good
two
on you,
things.
Hitler.
What? And snappy dressers. Oh.
So let's talk about some in theaters movies.
Yes,
do some
why
in
not?
theaters.
So now I want to talk about Edge of Tomorrow because I was actually, like I said, I was excited to see this movie, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. But
Really?
you saw it. I want to hear your take on it.
All right. I was in, where was I? Somewhere in Kentucky or Tennessee. Anyway, I saw it.
In America.
I was in the United
Yeah,
States.
okay, let's start there.
And I had a lot of reservations about this film.
Yeah.
Especially after the last summer sci-fi thing. I
Yes.
was like, is this
Oblivion, yeah.
Oblivion? I was like-
Oblivion. I know. That's what I was going to.
I was like, is just another Oblivion with a crazy twistaroo ending?
Right.
Spoiler alert. But no, Edge of Tomorrow. It's not a perfect film. It's not like, oh my God, this was amazing. But it's got some really solid moments to it.
Cool.
Right.
And you know, it's Tom Cruise. He's being all Tom Cruise-y, but I'm put him in a suit, battle aliens. It was interesting and it was compelling, and the Groundhog Day storyline, for those of you who haven't seen, he's in this war zone, in this futuristic war zone, battling aliens, and every time he dies, he comes back and gets to kind of relive it. So,
just like Tour of Duty.
Exactly.
It's a video game.
It is. So the reason why he's put into the war zone was stupid. That plot device, I was like, ugh, this is dumb. But I got over that quickly because it was interesting. And I'm going to say this. I've always liked Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
If you would have told me, oh, she's going to be a really good action star, I would have said, no.
Right.
She's great.
Oh, cool.
I heard it's her movie.
It's her. She's a fucking badass, man.
See, this is what I say about all future action films: is it has to be a strong female lead in it now.
Yes.
Salt, all of these things. Like you can no longer do the Expendables like guys being so super macho because it'll lose like a 50% of your audience.
And especially now when we're in a day and age where there's there's women's
You
UFC.
got Hunger Games.
Yeah. You got to have even if it's like a tag team, like a guy and girl,
Sure.
like that. Absolutely, I think that is the future of action films because everybody's like, oh, we have to find the next action star. You're going to find it in a female. You're not going to find your next.
Here's what they did correctly. They got a woman that's a great actress.
Right.
She is a very skilled actress. And, a lot of the characters that she plays are women with a lot of sort of vulnerability and that sort of cute English charm and softness to her.
Right.
So then when you put that, and this is what Emily Blunt did as an actress, and I like Doug Liman's films. I think he's a good action director. I really like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So he does a fine job directing the action in this. But why the casting was correct, the direction and her choices as an actress were great was because she was like, it's the future. The human race is, they did quick backstory.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where we're at.
Like Pacific Rim type
Like Pacific
backstory,
Rim.
that goes right into it.
Into it. This is what they invaded. Here's where the battle is. Go. So she has taken on this I gotta kick ass. And so she has to keep all this vulnerability that's there at bay because she's a fucking soldier with the fate of humanity on her shoulders. And it was like, she was so great. And to get that across in a big budget action, in a summer action movie is not easy.
Not easy at all.
And we complain a lot about it on this show when action movies miss the mark because they're all just about the special effects and the explosions. And they're missing the humanity. With her humanity is great, and this movie has a great sense of humor.
No, fantastic.
Oh, cool.
Which is still missing in so many things.
It's Doug Liman, which he's very good at. He's like this.
If you go back to his first movie, Go, you could see that had a real sense of humor to it.
Yeah, and so it was. This is a fun summer movie.
Awesome.
I think it's.
So it won you over.
It did. It's a hashtag work it for me.
Oh,
See,
cool.
and I think Oblivion would have been a good movie had they switched the roles. If that woman was going out and finding out that she's got the clone, whatever.
That's being generous to Oblivion. I mean, Oblivion was every single piece of that movie was cobbled together from a different sci-fi movie to the point where it was a mess.
Well, right, but if they lowered the budget on that thing, made it more like Moon, that David Bowie's son directed, and made it grittier like that. And not had to put.
Well, then you would just watch Moon. That's exactly what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. If you just made it like Moon, and then I'd have Moon. You see how great that would be?
You could just have Moon.
No.
If I went to Burger King and they made a Big Mac,
and you know what would have been good if they made a thing a burger that would be similar to the burger that I wanted at a different place. Okay, I realize now that argument is not cogent at all.
Oblivion was the classic sort of
big budget sci-fi mess.
Cruise
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise probably had more control over that movie.
Well, exactly. And the economics are Tom Cruise is $100 million, so we're going to make a $200 million movie, which then has to bloat the hell out in order to get our money back to pay Tom Cruise.
And Morgan Freeman.
If we just put two unknowns in that sort of thing and lowered it down to a $10 million thing because it's out in the desert and it's gritty and there's a whole survival thing going on, made him like a Mad Max thing, then you would have made your money back. It would have been this super cool movie.
Yeah, we're called Mad Max. Yeah.
Chris is refusing
Damn it.
to let you off the hook.
I know. I am walking into bear traps here. Jesus, normally a good time.
If it was just a lower budget with cars in Australia with some rogue cops, it would just be perfect.
Who's the idiot now? Okay, every movie could just be about science fiction, Star Wars. There's a Death Star, and it'd be just every movie.
Yeah.
Call it Star Wars. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
yeah, go see it. And
gonna go
again,
see
Doug
it.
Liman, Swingers, Go, Born Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I even like Jumper, which wasn't great and sort of missed the mark. He's a fun director, and he knows how to, because of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I think he knows how to deal with giant stars
Right.
and put them in the best position possible. And
Right.
Emily Blunt is a pretty big star now.
Sure,
I
of
mean,
course.
Big deal.
Yeah, so
Don't kid yourself.
it's definitely worth it. So go
Cool.
check this out.
Okay.
Well, I saw Maleficent with the family over the weekend, and I have to say it was one of those movies that I was like, when we saw, like, it was a visual effects person directing. It's like his first direction, and then we saw how many writers were on. I thought this was going to be a complete disaster. And I have to say it was more coherent than I thought it would be, considering
great.
all those elements put together. But was it a good movie? No, it wasn't. It was, but it was not the disaster I thought it would be. So that's
Less
kind
of a
of,
disaster.
That's
yeah.
right. It's
So-
only half a car wreck.
So I have to say, it definitely hits that mediocre kids film like level. Like kids are gonna love it. Like my kids both liked it. But is it a good movie? And no. And I realized, well, and I thought about it. I'm like, well, could you judge it as just a kids movie or as a movie? And no, you shouldn't let kids movies off the hook.
Right.
There's plenty of great kids movies.
Yeah.
And
That
family
appeals
movies
for the whole crowd.
Yeah, so it's you have to judge it as its merits as a film, and this is where it has a lot of problems, and it does look beautiful. Obviously, when you have a visual
Special
effects
effects
director,
guy,
director, it looks beautiful. Some of it looks dumb, like Angelina Jolie's cheek implant prosthetics look ridiculous.
What?
Like, there's absolutely no reason for that. The other whole thing about Maleficent is that. And this is all the stuff that Walt Disney put in and goes back to like mythology, is that evil is beautiful and alluring.
Right.
So you don't necessarily mess with that perfect image of beauty in the evil queen. If you even go back to the animation of Disney, that was a very striking image, the way they drew Maleficent. And now you're like kind of messing it up just because you have to put some weird effects in, like contacts and like weird cheekbones, completely unnecessary. So one of the problems with this movie is Angelina Jolie hams it up in every single scene.
no.
Like, literally, it's like a ham and cheese omelet every single scene. I'm like, come on, really? I mean, give it a little nuance or depth. And now this is where you could see the effect of all these writers. Is there's a lot of stuff that gets set up, doesn't pay off or pays off differently, or like, well, wait, if this happened here, why is this not happening here? And it's you never really understand how you're supposed to feel for Maleficent. Is she a tragic figure? Like, you look at, like, Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Right.
A villain that is a good guy that becomes a villain, but it's a tragic story.
Yeah.
But in this story, she's like, she does evil things, but then she also does good things. Like, she looks out for Sleeping Beauty. Like, as she's growing up, she, like, watches her in the forest, looks out for her, because they make the fairies that watch her completely incompetent, so they would have died if it wasn't for Maleficent saving Sleeping Beauty. So, but she's also the one that cursed her. So you're not really. Well, wait, which am I supposed to kind of feel? Because I think there was an opportunity here to actually show like the story from a different perspective, kind of like tell the story in a different way. But a lot of it felt like a missed opportunity, like it kind of missed the mark a little bit. Now, I will say the guy from District 9, Shalto Copley.
Yeah. He's in it?
It's in it, and it's the first time I could fucking understand him. I really think Andy Utek must have gotten a hold of him to teach him English.
Some elocution classes?
Yeah, and it's like he finally was speaking English for the first time.
Oh.
Because he's so hard to, I mean, that's not fair. Technically he was speaking English, but in Elysium, trying to understand one word he says in Elysium. Yeah. And
It's a thick accent.
But he's a great actor, and he plays like the tragic king that as kids, he falls in love with Maleficent, but then
didn't know
they
that.
go different ways, and it's
So is this like Once Upon a Time or one of those TV series where they retell that?
It has some similarities to it, but it also it's like it sets it up as like everything from a tragic hero, a villain story to a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, but nothing ever like sticks or pays off.
Hence,
like it,
yeah.
So
This is why
it
so
kind
many
of
writers.
it goes all over the map.
Yeah.
And but I will say it wasn't like a complete like, oh my god, this is unwatchable. It wasn't, because the dragon was amazing. There's some cool effects, and the acting is good. Angelina Jolie, which is a weird way, is the weakest part because she hams it up so much. And it's interesting when you see Angelina Jolie in a role like this, you forget that she's actually a very good actress.
Right.
Like, she's excellent. And you look at like what happens to sometimes these huge giant stars, they all of a sudden are not allowed to do what
especially
they
in
were
the hands of
supposed
a
to.
visual effects
Yeah,
guy.
The guy's like-
exactly.
Every film he's ever directed.
Yeah, yes.
He's been doing visual effects for 20 years.
Right, exactly. So this is all of a sudden now, like, I don't even blame her for hamming it up. I doubt she was getting very good direction. And as an actress, you remember, no, she's a fantastic actress. This is just a ridiculous role for her she's not being directed properly.
Well,
and she
so many
looks
visual
ridiculous,
guys I
and-
know that go into directing go, well, I'm directing everything because your footage you're getting, they all say the same thing. Oh, we'll save it in post. So you get this dreadful footage with horrible performances, and me and my crew make the movie watchable.
Right.
So it's that arrogance that you can then come on the other side and go, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, say whatever, Angela. I'm going to save it in post.
Yeah, you can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Because there's just these weird like effects choices that you could tell 1,000 more hours went into the effects than directing the actors or getting a coherent script and all that stuff. But like I said, it was an average film. It could have been a lot better, but it wasn't absolutely horrible. So it was better than I thought it would be, I have to say. But
a base run.
Yeah, it was actually. It was a.
Sounds like a hit by pitch.
Yeah. It was.
We need base runners.
There you go.
Yeah, it was somebody got walked to first. Really, that's kind of how it felt. But it was not a strikeout.
Right.
So it was like a missed opportunity, but it wasn't too horrible. But
so rent this for your kids when it comes out.
Yeah, I would say rent it for your kids. There's
I'm
not a
see it
lot
on the plane.
Yeah, and you'll definitely see it on a plane. I mean, if you're just kind of interested in seeing the effects, which are very good, as an adult, you like it. If you're interested in a retelling of a classic fairy tale and a compelling story, you might be a little disappointed.
Did you see it at the giant El Capitan in Hollywood?
No, we actually saw it at one of those eat-in movie theaters. We went to one of those, and where they bring food to your table and stuff. It's really cool.
Dine-in theaters.
Now, I will say though, not as kid friendly as you would think, because they kind of advertise. Now, the one at AMC, that's 21 and over.
Yeah,
but
21
and
over.
But the ones here, they advertise, it's kids, it's kid friendly, and all that stuff. It really isn't, because it's hard.
Sharp
for them
knives.
to like, it's sharp knives. It's like, they didn't have any kids cups, and then
Sound makers.
we
table with sharp edges.
we got them literally pretzels, so we thought, okay, they'll like that. Turns out there was like a jalapenos in the sauce, and then their mouths were on fire. It was hard. I would say like dine-in theaters, great for adults, no matter how much they kind of market it. Yeah, bring the kids. It's not really as kid friendly as you would think. So we probably will not go back there with the kids until they're a little older.
I can eat jalapenos.
I can eat jalapenos.
Right.
Yeah. So because also the food is more geared towards adults as well. There's not like a kids menu or anything, except for chocolate chip cookies and popcorn. But every movie theater has those.
Get that anywhere.
Yeah.
Wait, that's kids menu?
Regular movie theater is geared for kids.
Yes,
Really
exactly.
I want to eat jujubes for every meal.
Yay!
So interesting. Both Edge of Tomorrow and Maleficent, both better than we thought they would be going in.
Yes, for sure.
Look at that.
So now let's get to Smothered. This is the movie you saw.
Speaking of better than you thought it would be, I got an email one day from
The
John
NSA.
Schneider. Yeah, NSA. No, they just read my email.
Yeah.
I don't get one going, hey, we're reading your email.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you should seriously answer the email from 3 weeks ago you got, sir. No, I get an email from John Schneider and his people. John Schneider, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes, of course.
Dad from Smallville, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, hey, man, I just wrote and directed this thing called Smothered. It's a horror film. And, check it out. Here's like a link to it. Watch it online. and write a review.
Because the IMDb page doesn't even have a photo. It doesn't have a poster.
He's got one photo. It's a cast photo. And if you look at that cast photo and you go to horror conventions, you will recognize everybody in that photo. Because apparently he's going to horror conventions. I don't know. Has he done horror movies before? I don't know.
We'd have to look him up. I'm not
he might
sure.
be doing these low-budget horror films, and he gets to go to these conventions.
Just
and
so you guys know,
autographs.
too, the review is up on comedyfilmnerds.com.
Right.
It's
But what's so cool is he's taken the actor who's played Freddy. He's played another actor who has been Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw, but not the original ones. It's like the guys who did like Friday the 13th Part 8 and Texas Chainsaw 3. And these
he's
guys...
literally been in Snow Beast, Super Shark, Return of the Killer Shrews.
Oh, who doesn't love Return?
So I think,
exactly.
Yes, I think he's been thrust into this world.
So, but now he's written a thing, and every convention you go to, as you know, you get everybody, all the actors sit around and go, oh man, this is so great, all of us, we should do a movie together. And you all go, yeah, let's do that. And then you get back home, and of course, you lost everybody's phone number, nobody does the thing about it. Schneider does something about it. He goes, man, we should all do a movie together. I'm going to write and direct it. I'm going to fund it all. And
I'm going to get everybody's phone number.
And he got everybody's phone number from the one convention, it seems.
Good first step.
First step. But then you see their life. It looks like they're portraying their real selves. Hilarious. Oh my gosh. Don Shank, who I don't know what the hell Shanks has done, but he's like this 65 and he's done a lot of stunts. He's got a huge muscular bone, and he's just the biggest ass in this thing. So it's like, hey, get my luggage, blah, blah. Oh my God, it's hilarious. He's a big idiot on the convention circuit, and then they all get paid $1,000 to go to an RV park to terrorize everybody all night in the RV park. And then what happens is one by one they start dying, and it turns into an actual horror movie where the tables are turned on them, and they're the victims and not the killer. I thought, okay, this is going to be cheese fest, but it's actually surprisingly funny. You're endeared. There's actual real acting moments on top of that, and then the horror parts are actually kind of horrific.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you're like, oh my God, and of course it's got couple topless ladies in it, the requisite for the kids. Like, it's got all the tropes of all the horror movies, all in one horror movie.
You're not going to have a John Schneider movie without some ladies.
The ladies. Schneider's ladies. And, of course, Michael Berryman sitting beside him signing autographs. You know that guy from...
Oh, yeah. We saw him at Shriek Fest 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of pretty cool movie for an indie thing.
So it's Michael Berryman. He's in the movie?
But he sits beside John Schneider signing autographs. Like the scariest of them all. And he's just like, hey, how are you?
We met him. He's the nicest
guy. Nicest guy. I know. He's so great. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it just try to track this movie down.
Yeah, what he said in the email, he said, hey, thanks for the review, blah, 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 blah. And he said, now we're going to take it to the film festivals and horror film cons. So they're going to show it there and then get some sort of development distribution deal.
Since you know him, put it out there, like when the movie actually is kind of released.
Yeah.
Have him come back on the show.
Yeah, we'll have him promote it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a Duke boy on the show.
Look at you, Duke boy. I don't know.
If I were them Duke boys, I'd be getting out of there right about now.
Right about now. The Dukes are in a whole mess of trouble. How are they going to get out of this? Remember the one episode where General Lee is heading towards a slow-moving train, and they're being chased, and it cuts to commercial. Well, they're in a whole mess of trouble. And how do they get it? They hit a pothole, which sends them airborne through the open boxcar that then lands on the other side.
That was
a pothole shaped like a
one
ramp.
Episode? That was every week. If I was those Duke boys, I'd jump on that trampoline with the General Lee.
How do you get that? Like, I never understood that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Smothered. Check it out if you can. I hope it gets something in the theaters.
Is there a scene where John Schneider goes into a car without opening the door?
No, he missed that. Yeah. In fact, Schneider's hardly in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in it just for a couple scenes as like the big star, and then it's all the other guys. They're like, oh, there's Schneider. Look at that ass. So it's actually the stuff.
That's great. That's awesome.
Totally awesome.
Yeah, let him know. We're happy to.
Love to have him on the show.
Okay, awesome. I love when we have production meetings on the air. Like,
it's great.
Totally
We should have him
great.
come to have him do a live show. One of the live shows.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's
wouldn't
what
that be
we'll
cool?
do.
Oh, about the podcast festival.
Or
Yeah.
how about getting you guys to a horror con?
Done deal.
Because of what? Of Asylum and all that is released
Yes.
in Latin America.
Yeah, we're about to
Yes.
talk about that.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be
Yes.
something?
All right, so
right.
I want to introduce this
Yeah, okay.
because this is one of the greatest.
How many years have we been sitting
This
on
has
this?
been like, as a guy who has been just sort of an observer through this process. I want to say this is the movie Asylum that Chris wrote the script. How many years ago?
At least 10.
More than that. I remember reading it when I was still living in the valley here.
Yeah.
It was probably 10, 12 years
12,
ago. Yeah.
12,
Over
15,
10 years
yeah.
ago, Chris wrote the script called Asylum. When we first started working together at Film Nerds, whatever, 6-7 years ago, you were like, hey, read the script. And there's a part in there, Graham, I thought of you when I wrote this. And I was like, awesome. And so the mythology of this film is just unbelievable.
The marathon of
and
journey.
then telling the story, which you'll get into, it has been. And when you guys, I want everyone to know who listens to this. Most of you are not in show business.
Right.
You don't work in Hollywood. So you're going to hear this and think,
What?
this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right.
No, it is not. And this is,
It sort of happens a lot.
this happens a lot. This
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of crazy nonsense happens a lot. Now,
Yeah.
what Chris has done with it and everything else, and why Dean is here to discuss it, makes this one of the more unique ones.
Right.
And I hope all of you who hear this story then can go see it, because after hearing this story and watching it,
It'll be
the greatest movie going
yeah, it's
experience.
so entertaining. So entertaining.
Okay, so
hit it.
that's my introduction
Love
to the
it.
movie Asylum.
Okay.
Chris Mancini, take it away.
All right. We'll start out with my daughter's going to school, and she had a new friend, and her father was a casting director. So we were talking for a little bit, and it's weird that, like, you know, and this is, as you know, in Hollywood, a lot of business gets done on
On the soccer field.
on the soccer field,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
and you know, lunches and wherever. So we were talking
Foods.
Whole Foods, exactly, and on play dates. So we're talking, and he's like, you know, I'm a casting director. I work with a low budget horror company every once in a while. You know, if you have any scripts, I'll send them over. I'm like, oh yeah, I do have one, as a matter of fact. So I sent it to him. He sent it over to a company called After Dark, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm like,
Right.
all right, well, there's
People read
99% of the time, it's not going to get read. Nothing's going to happen.
But what is,
So,
to give a quick synopsis of what this movie is?
this movie is
Oh,
a.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Quick synopsis of what your script
Your
Yes,
script
what my
is.
script
let's go
was,
there
yes,
first.
yes.
Yeah.
The movie is called Asylum, and it's about a SWAT team that investigates demonic possession in an insane asylum.
Right.
And as the
Seems
movie
pretty good.
progresses, we see that there's a conspiracy underneath, that the goings-on of the asylum actually is related to some of the people in the SWAT team, and it kind of snowballs from there.
Right.
And
And it all takes place in
one location.
one location, which
Yes.
for you guys, that is a key element when you're doing low budget, is because a
Save
producer
money.
or
Yes.
money person goes, oh, we could just get
A building.
for 3 weeks,
Right.
Yeah.
And shoot it.
maybe
Right.
4 if we need to, and shoot, and we could get the whole movie done.
Think of that.
And beforehand, this is the script in the movie that's been. Let me back up just a little bit. It's been in development or like getting close to being made many, many times. And at one point, it was in development as a video game with a company in the UK.
that, yeah.
And at the same time, it was being developed with Stan Winston's studio, Stan
Right.
Winston's company, before he
Big
passed
special
away.
effects
Yeah,
guy.
big special effects guy
Stan
as
Winston,
yeah.
Which, like, I remember that when it was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, Stan Winston, this
Yeah, he's gonna
amazing
produce it.
guy,
Yeah.
and was like, this will be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he would
Because
make all the
again,
creatures and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
part of the low budget, was like, we got to find, you were always talking about, we need a low budget effects person.
Right,
Right.
who can pull it off.
Pull it off.
Because
All
that's-
the money shots.
That's a lot of
Right.
this budget is the effects.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you have the best in the business now attached.
wants-
Who wants to do it?
Exactly.
When I heard the story,
So-
I was like, this sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
So, and then as a lot of things do, it falls apart. So what happened is it went to After Dark, and then I didn't hear anything for a couple weeks, and then they said they really like the script, they want to meet with you. I'm like, oh, okay. So I go in, I meet. They seem really cool
Right.
at the time. Low budget horror, kind of like, you know, giving new filmmakers, new voices all a chance. They did a couple
Roger
of cool
Corman-ish-y.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Right, and this is their thing
Seconds
was-
Apart, low budget horror. Yeah.
And they released like 5 or 6 movies of like $1 million
Yes.
or less a year.
Right.
And we were like, awesome.
Oh, it sounds
Sounds
good.
perfect.
So they bought it. They
Wrote a check?
Yeah, they wrote a check. They bought the script, and then I did a proposal to direct, and I was on the short list to direct. And I brought in all of my storyboards and proposals. Brought my special effects guys in. I brought a crew list of all production designer from all these these shows like from Babylon 5 and all the people that I know. And here's all the people that would work on this at a discounted rate, so we could get this movie in at the $1.4 million that we would need to.
Right.
So, and this is where I was like, great. And then I was here, okay, you're on the short list. It looks good, and then
Kind of, I'm here thinking, well, if he gets the gig, I got a job.
I
yeah,
got a job.
exactly.
And we're talking about
everybody's working.
Yeah.
As a company, we were like,
Yeah.
well, and it started to feel like this could happen. We're like,
Right.
well, and there was even a timetable, and I was like, well, shit, we're going to be shooting this for a month.
Right. I better book off, not
Yeah.
get on the road.
We're all going to lock out this time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right?
And it's all going to go through. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
then,
done.
Yeah. And this is where things started to go south. As I got an email, and it was just a very short email saying, yeah, they're moving the production to Bulgaria, and they're hiring a Bulgarian director. Sorry, knew you kind of wanted to direct it. Maybe next time. So, and I'm like, what? Oh my God. So, don't hear anything for a year, maybe something like that, as they're shooting it. So I know they were shooting it. Stephen Rea is going to be in it from The Crying Game.
What, big deal?
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, great.
And Chris, when he called me that information, he was obviously disappointed, as was
Yeah.
I. But I said, hey, dude,
Yeah,
you
we're
sold
getting
the
a
script.
movie.
So the script,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
going to
So the
move
script.
it. It'll be your writing credit on a big
Exactly.
This is
with
good
the
for
Stephen
you.
Rea
This is
movie.
good
Yeah.
for our company.
Blah, blah,
Fantastic.
blah.
So it's
Ooh,
still a
that.
win.
Right.
So,
one would think.
yeah, exactly. At this point, it still felt like a win.
Under the traditional definition of the way. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So then some stills start coming out, and then a trailer comes out, and it has a presence at Comic-Con. We saw it at Comic-Con
We went
after
to
dark.
we went over to. I remember we
Yeah.
were.
That.
We were. I think we were at Jonathan London's booth. This is 2
Yes.
Comic-Cons ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey man, we need to go over to the After Dark.
Yeah,
booth.
yeah.
And we go over there. We meet the After Dark people, and they have this booth with all of their projects coming out. We see a quick trailer, and we're like, fuck, that's
this is awesome.
This is
Yeah.
awesome. It's Asylum.
Yeah, this is great. So the trailer, and then I notice on the poster, there's another writer's name on it. In addition to I wonder how much they changed the script. This is interesting. So don't hear anything for a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, when's this movie coming out? I'm like, nothing. So, we see, but the trailer was good. I like the trailer. I'm like, well, it's not what I would have shot, but it looks like, okay, this is going to be a decent horror movie. It's not bad.
Again,
not bad.
and because we just kept thinking like, well, let's just get in business with these guys because
Exactly.
we'll sell them
Yeah.
another thing. We could.
Right.
Yeah,
Turn them out with them.
Yep.
Yeah, be the
That's
thing.
exactly right. So I don't hear anything for a while. Then they call me and they say, well, we need to meet with you. I'm like, okay. And then they confirm the meeting 3 times. No one confirms a meeting 3 times.
You're definitely coming, right?
Yeah, they literally did that. And on the way. They called me on the way. It was like, you're still coming, right? I'm like, wait, what's going on? Why
Yeah,
are
Just
they...
don't bring any weapons.
Yeah.
And don't look online. Don't research
Yeah,
it out.
yeah.
Like
And
what
then-
the meeting's about.
And the last phone call was...
on where the
yeah,
lunch
yeah,
is.
yeah,
There's going to be hot food.
yeah.
There might be some beverages.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. They said the last phone call was like, I don't think we're going to meet at the office. Why don't we meet at the bar down the street?
Oh, dear Lord.
And I was like,
because we're all
really?
drinking heavily already.
Yeah.
This is
So
fun.
so I meet them at the bar. I'm like, this is a little weird, but okay.
And I
so,
think I either got a phone call or some text from you were like, yeah, I don't know, this is going south, and we were all like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even before you got into the bar,
so
you knew it was going south.
I had some couple warnings.
Well, the triple confirmation.
Triple confirmation
It's just like,
really is never. No
he
one
thinks thou protest
No one wants
too
to
much.
meet. Yeah, no one wants to meet with you that badly if you're an artist
Exactly.
in Hollywood,
I don't need to meet with you.
unless there's a problem.
Right.
So I meet with them, and then it's so funny. They still would not tell me what was going on until I had 1 or 2 drinks. They literally were buying me drinks before they told me what happened. So this is the story that they told me. They said the producer that they trusted for the film, went rogue. Literally threw the script away, shot his own film in Bulgaria, created an unwatchable mess for 88 minutes, and now they have nothing to deliver to Lionsgate, which is with their output deal.
Lord.
So I'm like, at that point, my face was just like, it was just blank. I'm like, and then in my head, I'm like, well, I couldn't have heard those words strung together
How
properly.
do you respond to that?
Yeah. And was it a Bulgarian producer that went rogue, or was it one of theirs?
It was one of theirs that they worked with.
From a guy flew from LA to Bulgaria. Then once he was there,
went nuts.
threw the script out, and just shot something.
That was had. There not one page of my script ended up in
He
that movie.
gave me a DVD of it or something.
Did you see it?
I watched it and he goes, Graham, you got to watch this. And I was like-
Yeah.
And I was like, now at that point, I hadn't read the script in probably a year or two.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was
About it.
watching it and I was like, I think I called Chris about 30 minutes in. It was like, is there anything from your script in here? Or am I just not remembering correctly? And he goes, no, Graham, there's nothing. There's the title.
Yeah. That
They
was
kept the title.
There's
Asylum.
a
This is
SWAT team.
Yeah, but they're Bulgarian now.
Bulgarian.
And they're
Bulgarian
all
SWAT team.
white bald men with very thick accents, and a couple of
Are they
women.
trying to speak English?
They're trying. Yes, they have very. They're trying to speak English.
And Dean, it's shit that does not make sense
Yeah,
at
it
all.
literally makes no
I
sense.
mean, literally like The Room style.
Yeah.
Don't make sense.
So and they.
So glad to be part of this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because what they said is this movie came out so bad that we need you to fix it. And I said, well, how am I possibly going to fix it? They said, well, it came out so bad that we want you to make it a comedy. And I said, well, I'm going to need to see it first.
Right.
So then that's when I took it home and I gave you a copy too. And I almost threw up as I was watching this. And I was sick to my stomach as
I
I was
had to
watching
talk
it.
Chris off the
Yeah,
ledge.
yeah. It
No,
was.
it's
It was.
God.
This was when I was like, I can't fucking believe this is
Oh, my
happening. This
God.
is ridiculous.
I mean, there was like,
Yeah.
I'm quitting show business.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. There was definitely
like,
those.
why do I do this?
Because it was
Gotta work for
it was
Apple.
nonsensical. And then after I watched it, I came up with the idea, and this
Right.
is what I came up with.
It's a perfect
I said,
save.
yeah, and I said to them, I said the only way we can make this movie watchable is if we shine a light on it and make it a mystery science theater, and also show how a low budget production company ruins a fucking movie. So this is when I wrote a bunch of wraparound scenes, and this is where Dean and Mike Schmidt and a couple other people come in, and it's all behind the scenes at a horror movie company as they fucking ruin the movie.
Right.
And then the rest of it is Mike Schmidt and another editor watching the footage and commenting on it as the movie is playing.
Right. Joe keep comments.
Right. So
And then I
I'm-
play the asshole producer with
Yeah,
oblivious
yeah.
to everything.
God,
it was so
funny.
It
And
was
the-
like so great to
And
do.
I was
Like,
thinking when I pitched this, I said, well, there's no way they're going to go for this.
right.
It's like they're...
because you're ruining the movie.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause
Basically, you're
I'm showing
mocking
what
the,
you guys
the
did.
disaster
Yeah.
that the whole thing is.
And they went, okay.
We love it.
The smartest decision they've ever
Yeah,
made.
yeah. And they said, okay. And then my favorite part was that after that, I was like, yeah, but we can't pay you to fix it. And I was like, what do you mean you can't pay me to fix it? And then my reps got on the phone, and they started giving my reps shit on the phone. And finally my reps my reps just stopped and went, wait a minute. You're not doing him a favor. He's doing you the favor.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right,
And,
make that
and
point.
pretty much shut it down, all their bullshit. And so the deal I got, and this was an amazing deal, and this is probably why they won't return my calls anymore, is that in exchange for fixing their movie, I got all the rights back to my original script so we can make it again. And I kept the money.
Which we're going.
Which we're going to make it
Fantastic.
properly. So we, and then the next fight started. The next fight was that we're going to shoot this in Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah.
I said, Baton Rouge? There's a million comedians in L.A.,
right.
and you have offices. We could just shoot it there. Why would you possibly shoot it in Baton Rouge? Well, there's a lot of reasons, blah, 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 blah.
Tax
I said, okay, well then I'll fly some comedians down. And they go, no, we'll just use an improv troupe in Baton Rouge.
You're not. Oh, these people no one's ever heard of?
Because comedians and actors, as you know, are completely replaceable.
Yeah,
They're-
you know, I
yeah.
get that improv troupe from Baton
Yeah,
Rouge.
yeah.
They work once a month.
Yeah,
It's a comedy hotbed, Baton Rouge.
Yeah, they're because comedians and actors interchangeable.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And
Doesn't
especially
matter
when
who they
you
are.
need them to improvise on camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
Definitely
well,
get
they're
the kids
good.
from Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one guy who couldn't read the Miranda rights? Wasn't he the
Oh,
one
my God,
local
yeah, he
actor
was-
that was like,
he was the
I'm
one-
not going to say his name, but it was hilarious.
And he was not even an actor. So, and the funny thing is, well, I called a comedian that I did know down in New Orleans,
yes.
Jody Borello,
Jody,
to be
Very
in it.
funny.
And
Great.
very funny, and she's great. And the first thing she says to me when I call her, she goes to me, "You know, there's no one down here, right?" I said, "I know." So I called Dean and I said, "Look, I need some help. I got to get some actors to do this." And Dean's like, "Well, what's the project?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm free. I'll do it." I'm
Yeah,
like,
what the hell?
"Yes,
Yeah.
score!" So,
yeah,
and then
no.
they gave me shit about bringing Dean Haglund down. This is what was like insane. They're like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
For
I
some
don't know if we can
reason-
afford it. Yeah.
Plane tickets for Dean and Mike Schmidt
Yeah.
was still better than shooting it in L.A.
Yeah.
It made
That
no
made no
sense.
sense.
It made no
No,
sense.
we had the
and I said,
hotel.
and you just took $1.4 million, went to Bulgaria, and threw it in a well. And you're
Yeah.
complaining about some airfare for people that are trying to fix the movie. So,
Oh, my God.
And I knew I was going to have a fight all the way through. And at first, I said I need 2 cameras and 3 days to get all this done. It was like 15 pages of script.
Yeah.
And I knew this would happen. It goes down to 1 camera, 2 days. And you know what? I fucking nailed it. A day and a half, we were done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It was really fast.
Because you guys knew what you were doing. I knew what we wanted to get. And the great thing, too, was when you go down, especially as a director, with a new crew, they're always apprehensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, who's this guy coming in? It's, because they're a crew that have worked together before. They're Baton Rouge guys.
Yeah.
About 4 hours in, I knew I had won them over.
Yeah. When
Because they came up and were like, you know what, this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And they were like, they started talking to you and started talking to the actors and especially the AD. Now, when I was getting in discussions with the producers, is like, well, you can't do this. We want to change this, and then the AD would immediately have my back. Well, this is what the director wants.
Oh, that's lovely.
It was fantastic. So I had
that's
won
good.
them over, and the voiceover with Mike and the other editor. I can't remember his name right now. He was one of the other actors that they had brought in. It's great. I mean, when you hear all the stuff that they're doing, and it's really, really funny. And I think, okay, well, this could be a great cult movie.
Could be.
At this point, it
Wait,
could come out.
hold on. You couldn't say Bulgaria.
Oh, that's right, too. I couldn't say Bulgaria. Yeah, there was these stupid random changes, so I had to call it Bulvania.
Bulvania, I forgot about that.
Had to change it to
And it changed to
Bulgaria.
Bulvania because we couldn't say Bulgaria. And I even talked to my production attorney. It's like, yes, you can. Why? Of course you can say Bulgaria.
Is the country going to sue you?
Yeah,
It's trademarked. We trademarked our country, Bulgaria.
It's shit like that you go, oh, these idiots don't know what the
Oh my
fuck
God.
they're doing
Yeah,
at
totally.
all.
And then
Legal
my
department.
favorite part was, too, there was a couple lines that I had to change because maybe I hit too close to home. Like, you couldn't get arrested for international money laundering. Like, we had to change that. They would not let us say international money laundering. And then
Because that's what they're doing.
And then there was one outburst that you had originally. It was like, writers, actors, it doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is that it's non-union. And then that had to go. They had to take that. Yeah. But
because I didn't know what you kept and what you didn't keep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just blabbered on until
and
the camera stopped.
It was great. It was so much fun, and it was one of those moments that I have to say, as shitty as the whole experience was, that moment of shooting with Mike and Dean and directing and the other actors and being able to kind of visualize everything that we wanted to do was fantastic. And
It was fun.
and then we had New Orleans cuisine for
That's
2
right.
nights.
A lot of big
I remember
dishes.
too, I was telling you, I was like, when you were after you were kind of coming down from being really disappointed, I said, basically, you got paid a decent amount of money to shoot this thing for 3 days because you got the rights back.
Yeah,
And you
they
get
got the rights back.
Think
Yeah.
of that.
So
Yeah.
that
So
to
it's a
me,
wash.
It was a total
Yeah.
wash. And I've seen some of the scenes with Dean and stuff like that.
They're
I thought
hilarious.
They're hilarious.
Ah, thanks, man.
Dude, you're so fucking funny. The shit that you say.
Oh my
And
gosh.
what one of the feedback was too that finally even the producers realized, oh, Dean's really funny. I said, really, the professional actor that's been improvising and doing acting for 20 years,
That guy
you
was
like what he
worth
was
the
doing?
plane ride, was
And
he?
then they told one of the other actors, not Mike, the other actor is like, we really love what Dean's doing with his improv. Just say whatever you want. And that what amazes me too is it's like, that's not what you were doing.
Right.
It's improv.
Yeah.
Improv is not just saying whatever you
You're
want.
driving the story. You gotta drive-
You're driving
you
the
gotta
story. You
in
make sure
character.
it doesn't conflict with anything in a previous scene. It's in character. It's driving the story. Everything.
Relationship.
You did,
Yeah,
yeah,
all these
everything
things.
you
No,
did.
just talk.
Yeah, no, just talk. That's all you have to do. It's so easy.
Well, that's what
I mean,
stand-up is, right?
Yeah, you're just
you chatting
talking.
about
So-
your life and stuff.
So it was unbelievable. So
I know.
So I delivered. Oh, and then they said, well, we're not editing it in L.A. We're editing it in Baton Rouge. I said, but I'm flying back to L.A. How am I going to edit it?
Yeah.
And so it took so long to get a director's cut together because the editor had to do edits and passes and then send me through QuickTimes the little segments and footage. So it took forever back
Lord.
and forth. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is clearly saving a lot of money and time
Yeah.
in production to
Well,
have the
you know,
director and editors in different states.
In fairness to them, LA doesn't have a lot of film production stuff.
Yeah.
Right. You know, that
There
is
isn't a
true.
lot. There isn't
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
I don't
editors.
think every laptop has Final Cut on it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's not a lot of equipment, not a lot of staff.
No,
you know?
there's not a lot of people working in film and
Right.
TV in LA, so
Oh my
it makes sense to go to
God.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Dear Lord. So anyway, I delivered the director's cut, didn't hear anything for a while, and then they asked, do you still want a credit on the movie? This is months later. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, I do.
Sure.
Because I'm actually proud of how, you know, all
funny
of us
parts
that we
are.
did. Yeah. And how we kind of put it together and saved the movie. So they said, all right. I said, well, did you make any changes? Well, we made some minor changes on your changes. I'm like, all right, now I'm going to need to see this.
Vomit.
So I had to go back and actually go to their studio and watch to see what changes they'd made to mine. And the changes they made were, there weren't that many, but they were really dumb. Like they cut the casting director, Jodie's scene, like halfway through, so you have no idea she's the casting director. Like they don't cut her walking in. So I'm like, well, what are they talking about? Like really dumb edits. And then they dropped out some of Mike Schmidt's jokes. And I said, why did you drop out his jokes? Now there's literally dead air. The last thing you ever want in any movie or
comedy.
TV or comedy is dead air. Even a joke that doesn't always land is better than dead air.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we focus grouped it, and it didn't really.
Focus group means the morons in your office.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not.
We showed it around the office.
Yeah, it means you showed it to 4 interns,
Yeah.
is what that means.
And they're all
You showed
high.
to the improv troupe in Baton Rouge,
yeah.
and they didn't get Mike Schmidt's.
So, like, there's a joke
References.
that there's a big like industrial area, and in the asylum, and Mike Schmidt goes, "What is this, Metropolis?" And then he goes, "Fritz Lang just turned over in his grave because I mentioned his film during this film." And then kind of, well, our fan base may not know. What Metropolis? No, they would exactly know what Metropolis is.
Exactly.
Anybody who watches movies knows Metropolis. So it was ridiculous. I'm like, all right, at that point I had washed my hands of it. So I'm like,
Yeah,
all right,
walk
let's
away.
see when it comes out. So then they stopped returning phone calls and emails. I'm like, well, that's a little weird. I mean, because I can help promote it. I can be very instrumental in getting this movie out. It never got released. And then Mike Schmidt gets an email from a fan saying, oh my God, I just saw you in this movie that you're talking over it and making fun of it on HBO Latin America, because he was in Mexico. So it got released in HBO Latin America. It's on HBO somewhere. And then also I saw on IMDb it's like in Japan. So there's this weird slow release of the movie, but I don't know if we'll ever see it in this country.
Right. This is that thing that happens at AFM, the American Film Market, every year, where there's like a room and it's full of these what the hell movies are these
Right.
things with like names you sort of recognize.
Yeah.
And then like one person comes in from like Japan going, what do you have? Oh, hey, we got take the whole library.
Yeah.
For $10,000. Here it is.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then they
Thank you.
somebody writes a check.
Arigato
Yeah.
And they don't, they don't
Yeah.
know what's in that library. And then they
Yeah.
like get all these dogs and you have to show them somewhere.
That has that feel to it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally. Because
Yeah.
when I was in Thailand, I watched HBO, and it's the same thing. There's like Shatner and Rob Lowe in a submarine movie. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Where do I find that movie?
Where do I get? When did this get shot? How did I?
I'm so on board with
I
that.
know.
So what's amazing is that now I have a movie
Did he
that
say
I've...
Warp Factor 5?
Ah, that would have been
Please.
great.
Please.
Great.
He was actually the bad guy. In,
of course he was.
Armed non-photon torpedoes.
Rob Lowe was in like a tight-fitting suit. or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, totally.
And he got
blows-
wet. There was a leak in the submarine. His shirt
It
got
always
wet.
happened. It
Yeah.
always
Imagine Rob
happened.
Lowe in a submarine. I want to see. I have to see this movie. now.
Totally. I can't remember what it was called. There's like,
cares?
I
It
know.
doesn't matter. Even if it was called Shatner and Rob Lowe in a submarine, I would see it. Yeah.
We gotta make that movie.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
So somewhere in the world, there's a movie floating around that I wrote and co-directed with a Bulgarian director who I'm sure spoke very little English, that has Stephen Rea, Mike Schmidt, and Dean Haglund in it.
Look at that. And as I said, there's a movie theater here in LA that imports or somehow sneaks Mexican movies up to show them
If
in LA.
anyone sees this movie, you have to let us know.
Yeah. Immediately.
Absolutely.
Like,
Let us
tweet
know
it.
where you
Like,
saw it, where you see it, and then you could even bug After Dark to release it.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Because it's I don't know if it's Lionsgate or who's sitting on it, but somebody's sitting on it in this country.
Man, if we could get After Dark to just get us a copy. If anyone finds a DVD, get it and send it to us because
Yes.
we'll have a screening.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh,
Yes.
my God.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
That is hilarious.
We'll have a Q&A
my
with
God.
We
Dean and
definitely
Mike
will.
Schmidt.
Yeah.
We'll fly out Jody
about it?
Borello for
Yes,
that.
Exactly.
absolutely.
What were you thinking in that scene?
Yeah.
That, what?
I don't know.
How to get out of here?
Where's a good Creole restaurant?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's literally what we were doing.
Totally. Like looking for a great restaurant.
Yeah. And we had this giant bowl of crawfish. Remember that?
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
And then the other thing we learned about Baton Rouge, you can't get a cab to save your life.
That's
so,
right.
So
They don't
it
pick
got
people
so
up. They're, like,
bad.
scared to pick people up. I
It
guess.
got so bad one night. The bartender had to bring us back
Remember
to the hotel.
That's right. We're standing outside the restaurant for an hour,
Yeah.
and he's finished cleaning up, and he comes
Yeah.
out. What are you guys still doing here?
He's
We're
like,
waiting for a cab.
yeah.
Get in the car. I'll
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
you.
He took us back to the
I know, because you'll never get a cab here.
Yeah.
That's how Shatner and Rob Lowe ended up in the submarine.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
catch a
Yeah.
Hey, why don't we do a movie together?
Yeah,
good idea.
that's how I had to
right.
pay for Dean Haglund's hotel room. I had to trade in my rental car, and I said, if you give up your rental car, then we'll pay for Dean's hotel room.
Jesus.
That's literally that's the literal flim-flammy bullshit that they were pulling.
God,
Great.
Love After Dark.
So disappointed we're not doing more business with that company.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Boy,
so weird.
how it doesn't work out. Yeah,
All right, so check out Asylum.
Yeah.
Somebody find it and send us a copy.
somewhere in the world. Yeah,
It's like
check it out.
like the Star Wars Christmas. Someone send us some DVDs.
Someone's got it.
Totally.
VHS.
Scavenger hunt. Global.
All right,
Scavenger
speaking of
hunt.
DVDs,
What?
the Lego movie,
Everything is awesome.
Yeah.
loved it. I saw it on one of the flights.
Isn't it great?
Loved
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So great.
Such a fun movie. If anyone out there has not seen it, you guys,
You gotta check it out.
You got to check it out.
Yeah.
It's a
I
blast.
sing that song now all the time. It's like so stuck in my The earworm song that they
Yeah.
like everybody sings.
Yeah, yeah.
Just my girlfriend and I just like anytime we screw like the dogs are shit on the floor or something, then we just go everything is awesome. Like just wash over
It's
it.
such a fun event. Check that out. And
Awesome.
yet another great movie, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Really enjoyed this movie. too.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to check it out. Like I said, I saw it on the plane, but it's small screen, sound wasn't that great. I really want to check it out at home and watch the
You
DVD.
got to
Yeah.
just because the way Wes Anderson composes a shot,
Right.
I
You
agree.
really need to see it
Yes.
on a nice screen TV. Like, don't watch
Right.
it on your laptop or whatever.
Or your phone.
Yeah.
And apparently it's the funniest movie you've seen when you watch it the first time, and then the saddest movie you've seen when you watch it the
Right.
second time.
Really?
Yes.
It's interesting you say that because we had this discussion, I think it was in Tokyo, on the Tokyo episode, because Chris, you had just watched
Right.
it on a plane, and we were talking about Wes Anderson. And so on the flight back from Tokyo to LA, they had Rushmore.
Oh yeah.
And I watched that movie again. Now, I've seen that movie a bunch of times. It's probably one of my favorite. It's my favorite Wes Anderson movie and one
Yeah.
of my top 20 movies of all time, I think.
yeah.
And again, you watch that movie again, and it's like there's some heavy stuff. in
Some
that
dark,
film.
heavy stuff for sure.
Really dark, heavy
And
stuff.
Bill Murray delivering it too.
He's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
Vindictive, mean, horrible family life.
Yeah, yeah,
and
the
it's
whole
depicted
thing.
as sort of light and funny, but it's really intense.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Jason Schwartzman's in his character, his mom is dead, and having to deal with that, and
Yeah.
there's these really subtly painful moments in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
film. I mean, he falls in love with his teacher, and she kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah, it's
weird.
weird.
And her husband is dead.
Yeah,
Like, it's
it's
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you
but
wouldn't
anyway,
think it's a comedy.
it's a great. Anyway,
Here's
check
a funny tie-in between these two online. Somebody actually built the Grand Budapest Hotel in Lego.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome. I'd like to see that.
See?
All right, so check those guys out. Coming out
Right.
this week, Think Like a Man 2.
Now, again, with sequels, I'm not sure if you'll be lost or not if you didn't see the first one.
Right.
so.
I don't even think I knew there was a first.
There is. If you saw the first one, you'll see the second one.
Right.
I don't think anything we're going to say is going to make you go either way.
Yeah. You're on board or you're not.
Yeah.
Think Like a Man also would be a better title. though.
Yes.
Jersey Boys. Now, this is, I believe,
Clint Eastwood directed
Eastwood,
this,
yeah.
yes.
But I
Based
never
on the
bothered
show.
seeing it on Broadway or every Stage West dinner theater that thing showed up at. So why would I go see it?
This is one of the rare occasions that my wife actually asked me, is like, will you take me to see Jersey Boys? And I said no. I said,
that's so cruel.
I went to see Wicked with you.
Yeah,
this is
that's-
why don't you go with one of your girlfriends?
Actually,
yeah.
You saw Jersey Boys on stage?
no, I had no interest in seeing it on stage, but the trailer that I've seen and knowing that it's Clint Eastwood. If it wasn't Clint Eastwood, I don't know that I would be on board.
Right,
Because
and
it's Clint
Christopher
Eastwood.
Walken as
Yeah.
the mobster, maybe.
I think I want to see it.
This will be our compromise. We'll go see the movie together.
Oh yeah, see,
Yeah,
that
we'll
makes
go-
up
we'll
for
go-
the fact you
yeah,
didn't take
yeah.
a Broadway show. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so yeah, I had no interest in seeing the show at all with Jersey Boys, even though it's fantastic. It was like,
the Four Tops or whatever, whatever the hell they were.
I mean, we went to see Book of Mormon. which
Yeah,
was
I like
really
that.
Fantastic.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
fantastic.
And so anyway, now this next movie, Third Person. This is an interesting movie.
Directed by Paul Haggis.
Directed by Paul Haggis.
Right.
It was originally like being marketed as like it's like a romance of like in 3 different cities and how they all kind of tie together, and it isn't at all. And I was like, I watched the trailer and I read more about it. I'm like, that's the last thing this is about. What it is it looks like a fairly heavy drama.
Yeah.
About relationships, but also about the past, and almost has some thriller elements. It really feels like more like a Crash.
Which he won an Oscar for.
Which he won an Oscar for, exactly. So I don't know why it's not being marketed properly.
Oh my gosh.
So it looks, and it's got an amazing cast. It's got Liam Neeson, Adrian Brody. It's got a ton of really good people in it. And the trailer really had me hooked. Like, hey, what's going on to someone delusional?
Yeah.
Is this happening inside their heads, or these couples, like all this
All
kind of
these
stuff,
stories.
all these questions kind of come up just from the trailer that is compelling enough that makes me really want to see this movie.
See, in our podcast, Chill Pack Hollywood Hour, we do marketing fuck-ups. And, like, you got to see a movie because it was marketed wrong, and so it failed at the box office, not because it wasn't a great movie.
Right.
But that the marketing department either didn't get it, didn't see it, or thought, oh, no, we got to hit, bang over C and
It
D.
happens more often than it used to. These marketing fuck-ups.
Well, because it's so expensive. Marketing now is a $70 to $100 million enterprise unto itself. So you got a lot more idiots on top of it, as opposed to one guy going, I'll take this clip, and this is the poster, and then that's your marketing, right?
Right.
The way it used to be. Right. Now it's like, oh no, we gotta emphasize the thing with the explosions over the
Focus
actual,
group.
Yeah.
Focus groups.
We
are
need Burger
stupid.
King glasses.
Yeah. Can I get a Burger King burger, but it's called a Big Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go at McDonald's. You could actually get that.
Yeah, but
Do
I
you guys
wanna
have
do
all
it.
4 Crash glasses? Did we?
Hilarious.
All right. Well, that's our show.
That's
was
it?
Quite a show for
that was
for coming back
action
out of the
packed.
gate.
Bam.
Man, so many stories.
Raspy voice and all. We
Oh
did it.
yeah, you held your own there, Mr. Elwood.
I was skeptical that you would get through it.
I thought you were gonna when you went to get the
Bitch, I just
Chilpa-
did 5 shows.
I got to
after-
say, I'm very impressed. I have to say.
when you went to get the chill pack. I thought you were going for a nap.
Yeah.
I've done 3 shows in war zones. I can do this.
Oh, there you go.
I can come in your goddamn garage.
Were you under fire at the time?
Some of them.
What?
I have done
No,
shows under
that's
fire.
That's man.
Well, thank you so much, Dean Haglund. For
Thank
being
you
on the
guys.
show.
Great to be here as always.
Where can
Always a
people find
pleasure
on the
having you
internet?
here.
Find me on the internet. My new website that should be operational by the time we hear this. DeanHaglund.com. And you can hear our Chill Pack Hollywood Hour at chillpackhollywood.com. Spelled CHILLPAK.
Now, every 6 months you redo your website. Right?
Yeah, I
Pretty
tried
much.
it. Yeah, because that happened last time I was here too,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
that screwed up. Again,
Are you still getting hacked?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, those kids, man.
Start a new website with Squarespace.
But it's like
Hey,
it's like in
that's
Eastern
good.
Bloc
10% off.
countries you're getting.
I
hacked
get it.
from,
Yeah,
right?
it's tracked. Sri Lanka does a lot of laundering of the Eastern Bloc kids, so somehow Sri Lankan servers will wipe out the IP addresses of the Eastern.
Squarespace, you get 10% off, Dean.
If I put CFN,
Yes, you put CFN in,
Well, you know what I'm going to
absolutely.
do? I'm going to try Squarespace.
You
website.
should. Do you need a website or an online portfolio?
I do. I need both of those actually.
And you can do e-commerce through it too.
Well, see, that's my main thing because I'm selling the comic books and the things,
Yeah.
and I got all that to
And
sell.
it's easy. Oh, it's drag and drop. You could put it together in like minutes.
Are you kidding? Can I upload my own photos?
Of course you could upload your
Why,
own
that's
photos.
ridiculous.
Embed video.
And you can embed video.
No way.
It's so simple. It's squarespace.com, 10% off, code CFN.
And you could put all your products that we currently sell in the store.
Exactly.
I'd take them back. Yeah. Sorry. Give me all that crap back. That's hilarious. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dean. All right, guys. So
We should mention that too, that we have Dean's. We have his comic book. We have his conspiracy cards. Now, these are special things. There's even one that a little window with your hair in it.
Yes,
the window
one out
card.
of 72 cards is a hair card because
Yeah.
when I cut my hair from the show, a trading card company came and took all the hair and put it in little.
So they're in
plastic-
the little. They're called
That's the-
window cards, right?
Yeah, they're window cards.
Yeah.
They're actual hair, and now they've become these collector items.
Yeah, you
that-
can clone Dean.
Please do.
Why wouldn't you?
Because then
Yeah.
that guy can work on the Squarespace while I'm
Yeah,
out doing
right.
shows.
So we have all of Dean's stuff. We've got his comic book. We've got the trading cards, and we've got The Truth Is Out There for download, which is an amazing movie. You're really going to like it.
It's a very cool film, guys. It's a really cool documentary.
Thank you so much.
And we also have done episodes in the past with your co-host Phil Verone.
Yes.
Yeah, Phil Ernest.
Phil Verone. Why did I
Phil
say
Verone. Because you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was your,
That was your pilot's name.
your TCA, your TSA guy who felt you up. Phil Verone.
You met him on a
Verone's got
Tokyo
s-
subway.
Oh yeah. Oh god, he's got soft hands.
I like that guy.
Phil-san, arigato gozaimasu, Phil-san. So yeah, check that out.
Awesome.
Guys, and then follow the earbuds. We're going to start. I just got back, so we're going to start watching footage and putting that together over the summer. We're done with principal photography, which has been awesome. We're going to shoot some more interviews at the Podfest, of course. So LA Podfest, September 26th through 28th.
Oh, that's happening.
Boom.
Boom. Love it.
LAPodfest.com. Buy your tickets and discount hotel rooms. We're
Yes.
at a new hotel, the Sofitel in Beverly Hills.
Look at this.
Boom.
Yep, moving on up.
Beverly Hills.
More. We're going to have like parties every night with
What?
sponsored
Yes.
food and drinks.
Yeah, so you're
Fantastic.
actually going to get a lot more for your money now. You buy the ticket, but you're going to get parties and food and drink every single night.
And if you go to LAPodfest.com or the LA Podfest Facebook page, LA Podfest is also on Twitter. We're starting to get acts booked. And so we're starting to say, we already have maybe 15 or so people confirmed. So that's, you can get that lineup.
Aisha Tyler, Jay Moore, a lot of big names again.
Big names.
Doug Benson.
Yep.
So check that out, guys. And tour dates, everything, comedyfilmnerds.com. I'm home all summer. I'm doing a lot of local shows.
Fantastic.
So check-
You might even be at the Lash.
Oh,
with the
yes.
Tall
We're
show
definitely
July
going to do the
3rd.
Lash.
Hello.
We'll tell everybody.
Downtown.
about that. Downtown.
Graham.
Where the action is.
Graham is coming downtown, folks.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you once again to Dean Haglund. My name is Graham Elwood.
I'm Chris Mancini, and as always, remember, Han shot first.